A lot of NES games are hard to view with a modern lens. With arcade games informing the broader design philosophy of the time, relatively few giants newer games could stand on the shoulders of, and the hardware limitations of the era, NES games can typically be cast aside after a few minutes. You play pro wrestling on the NES, you do a cool brain buster, and you have your fill. There are rare gems like Super Mario Bros. 3 or Mega Man 2 that honestly hold up in a modern setting, but they are few and far between. That's why everybody is desperate for Nintendo to move on to Super Nintendo games with the Nintendo Online service. Most of the best or most notable NES games are already there, and people have seen what they have to offer. This month, however, Nintendo added 2 more new games, Kung Fu Heroes and Vice Project Doom. So of course, I'm here to tell you all about how great Kung Fu Heroes is. Look at how awesome those punches and that big front flip are. Great gaming. More like Kung Fun Heroes, am I right? No, Vice Project Doom is great. God, saying great gaming felt gross, even as a bit. While I too am frustrated about Nintendo continuing to roll out only NES games, I will forgive them this month. Vice Project Doom honestly surprised me in a lot of ways, and I'm glad I took the time to give it a go. For most of your 2-hour playtime, Vice Project Doom is a 2D side-scrolling action game. You move from one side of the screen to the other, overcoming platforming challenges and taking out any enemies. That is not in and of itself revolutionary, but the game feels shockingly good. The controls are among the most tight and responsive on the NES. Jumps are precise, with lots of control in the air. Seriously, I was blown away at just how smooth everything felt. There are sections in this game, for example where you're platforming up a waterfall via falling logs, that would lead to an anxiety-induced panic attack due to how frustrating it would be in many other NES games. But here, it's smooth and simple. It feels like a modern recreation of an NES game in a lot of ways. Just the simple touch that you can still move while crouching blows my mind, and helps make bosses much easier. Combat is straightforward but gives you at least some options. You get a standard blue laser sword as your melee weapon, plus a gun and grenades with limited ammo that you can restock through enemy drops. Most of the enemies are fair, though they really just unload them on you in the later levels. I made liberal use of Nintendo Online save states and rewind functions. I am a filthy cheater after all, but usually it's well designed and levels are a nice mix of action, platforming and pattern recognition. Speaking of pattern recognition, the boss fights are all really solid. The variety of bosses usually have a single pattern they repeat, so it's not the most complex in the world, but they're all cool fights. Only does it veer into unfair on the very last boss, and that's mostly due to a lack of checkpoints and a truly awful hitbox. You throw grenades at this thing too early, and they just do nothing. It sucks. And if you die, you have to go all the way back to the room before the 2-pronged final boss. Boo. The game also has a story. It's some silly tale about a company full of secret aliens that you're trying to take down. It's a good effort for an NES game, but it's still a story in an NES game. Who really cares? The game even has some gameplay variety. There are a couple of top-down driving stages and a couple of on-rails shooter stages. Again, in games like this, that quote-unquote variety is usually unwelcome, but honestly here, I wanted more of it. Both diversions were super fun. This game really was a great, complete package. I want Super Nintendo games on Nintendo Online as much as anybody else. Man, I really do want Super Nintendo games on Switch. Come on, Nintendo. But while we continue to wait, at least we can take solace in games like Vice Project Doom. Otherwise unreleased since its original release in 1991, it will hopefully find a little new life as a hidden gem on Nintendo Online. It blew me away with how smooth and pleasant it was to play nearly 30 years later. Carve out 2 hours some afternoon and give it a go. You'll have a real fun time. Vice Project Doom gets 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. It's real nice to be able to play an NES game and just be like, hey, this is actually good in 2019 without being like, it's good, but, and add all the qualifiers you have to add to like older games. Play Vice Project Doom. Good game. If you have Nintendo Online, you're wasting your money if you don't play it, I guess. If you like this video, subscribe, please. Like, comment just to tell me that you exist. That's always nice. Follow me on Twitter at GarrettNateGA or ETTKIDNEY. On your left, a review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. On your right, why a rewind feature should be in every single game because it made this particular game much easier for me. Thanks for watching.